Which occupations are more prone to tinnitus and hearing loss? In this video, we're going to look at the top 10, and you may be surprised at some of them. So when I came up with the idea for this video, there were 2 or 3 occupations that came to mind straight away, the obvious ones. But when I actually did the research and looked at the facts and figures, there are about 5 or 6 occupations that I would never have thought of adding to this top 10. So you might be surprised by some of these. As with all my videos, the reason why I'm sharing this information is that hopefully the more aware we become about volume and hearing loss, the more workers in these industries will take hearing protection seriously. Because a lot of the research that I found also suggested that despite the dangers of volume these occupations are exposed to, a lot of the workers in these industries still don't use hearing protection consistently. Okay, so let's get to the list. Here are the top 10 industries and jobs that are more prone to hearing loss and tinnitus. So number 1, military personnel. Military personnel are obviously exposed to lots of loud noise due to combat-related noise. And in fact, tinnitus is the most common service-connected disability among veterans, with over 1.9 million receiving disability compensation for tinnitus and hearing loss. Number 2, mining. According to experts, 61% of mining sector workers are exposed to occupational noise, the highest of any industry, and 23% suffer from hearing difficulty. This is due to the construction tools that they use, such as jackhammers, nail guns, and drills. Number 3, farmers. This is one I didn't think about. So like workers in the manufacturing sector, farmers are exposed to loud noises with tractors and other machinery. In fact, farming is among the top 3 occupations with the highest risk of hearing loss. But the noise exposure isn't just to machinery, it's also to animals. Apparently, the squeal of a pig can reach up to 130 dB. Number 4, musicians. If you didn't know, I'm a professional musician and have been my entire life, so this one is personal. For obvious reasons, musicians are highly susceptible to tinnitus. Musicians are 50% more likely to develop tinnitus than the general public. And here's a fact that perhaps a lot of musicians are not aware of, or perhaps they just don't want to know. I spoke to one of the most respected audiologists in the UK who deals with musicians all the time, and he told me that he believed that the true figure of tinnitus amongst musicians is more than 50%. And indeed, some of the most respected tinnitus researchers in the world believe that the true figure of tinnitus amongst rock musicians is somewhere over 60%. Wow, I get emotional when I think about that, man. That's just crazy. Number 5, manufacturing and construction. 47% of workers in this sector are exposed to occupational noise, and 18% of them suffer with hearing difficulties. In a study that came out the 6th of February of this year, 2024, 500 UK tradespeople were interviewed about their hearing by the Leadership Factor. They found that 49% of 18 to 34-year-olds working in construction say they have already started to have trouble with their hearing, and that 50% of bricklayers are most likely to experience hearing problems. Number 6, flight crew and airline pilots. Yeah, this is one I didn't think about for sure. So crews working on the ground, loading luggage, etc., can experience up to 130 dB during takeoff. That's an incredible amount of noise if you don't know about dBs. 130 is at the very, very end of the spectrum. It's dangerous amounts of noise. So whatever hearing protection they are being offered in that industry, I really hope it's of the highest quality, because 130 dB is a lot of noise. But the problem in that industry isn't just specific to the ground crew, it's also among pilots. A study done in 2009 found that 40% of pilots had experienced tinnitus, and 18% of them suffered from chronic tinnitus. Number 7, nightclub and bar workers. A recent study done by the International Journal of Noise and Health found that the average daily noise exposure that employees in nightclubs and bars experienced was 92 dB. Another study done by RNID found that the music played in UK nightclubs was so loud that it was the equivalent of working next to an airplane taking off. The report stated, people working in Britain's bars, clubs and pubs are being exposed to dangerously loud music at work, with noise levels as high as 110 dB, the equivalent of being 2 feet away from an airplane taking off. Number 8, call center employees. Now, I don't know about you, but I would have never considered these guys. So according to a study published by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, call center employees are at a higher risk of tinnitus due to exposure to loud and frequent phone use. This was made worse by acoustic shocks, a sudden increase in noise levels. This also contributed to their hearing problems. The study found that 50% of call center employees reported experiencing tinnitus. Number 9, forestry workers. Workers in this section use chainsaws and other equipment that exposes them to incredibly loud noise. The noise level of a chainsaw, for example, can reach up to 120 dB. That's a lot. The equipment they use also generates carbon monoxide, which further increases the risk of hearing loss as it's an ototoxic chemical. And finally, number 10, nursery workers. I didn't think of these guys. But apparently, a classroom full of children can reach levels of up to 85 dB. Prolonged exposure to this level of noise can cause hearing loss and damage. A study published in 2019 found that preschool teachers had a 3-fold increase for potential in hyperacusis and a 2-fold increase in difficulty perceiving speech. So there you have it. Those are the top 10 industries and jobs that are prone to hearing loss and tinnitus. I hope it was informative, and I really hope it encourages people working in those industries to please protect your hearing. Do you work in an industry that has a lot of noise? Are you being offered hearing protection? Do you think the hearing protection is adequate? I'd really like to hear from you and hear what your thoughts are on the subject. If you like this video, it would be really cool if you gave it a like, or if you consider subscribing to the channel. This is a new channel that I'm sort of slowly building up, so that would be really cool. I've got a website called helpmytinnitus.com where you can download my free PDF, 5 tips for tinnitus. But for now, I want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.